Hello, this is Accept Truth. From now on, I say that what I'm saying is not a subject based on my opinion, but an objective fact based on the Bible. It consists of a total of 10 table of contents. I'll explain up to 5 things this time. 1. You have to be nice to go to heaven? Should a person live a good life to go to heaven? No. At first glance, you think it's right to say that you have to be nice to go to heaven, but that's only possible in theory and not in practice. Because no one can actually live a good life. If a man can live holy and good without committing a single sin in his life, he can go. But that's not really possible. 2. Differences between theory and practice. People can run on the water. Do you want me to teach you how to run on water? If you run over the river, take your right foot up the river first, your left foot before your right foot, and your right foot before your left foot. Then you can walk anywhere. You can walk to the sea, Japan, and the Pacific Ocean. But can you actually do that? This is the theory. Can you take your left foot before you lose your right foot? No one can take their right foot before their left foot falls into the water. Your left foot will already drown before you step on your right foot. In theory, you can live a good life. It's possible. But who actually lives a really good life among those who can live a good life? Is there anyone who never sinned in their entire life? It's impossible. 3. People are always evil. God was born to men as sinners from birth. That's what he said. To put it simply, a man was born of thorns. It's the same as that. What is a thorn tree? A thorn tree is a tree that only spines come out from birth to death. Likewise, the fact that a person is born as a sinner means that a person is supposed to live a life of sin from birth to death. That's why it's impossible to go to heaven, because people live nicely. It's impossible with a person. Thorns come out all their lives, and eventually they are stamped and thrown into the fire. So what happens when a man is born a sinner and sin all his life and ends up? In God's eyes, everyone in the world is forced to sin like a thorn tree until they are born and killed, and they are thrown into a fire pit. Matthew 7:19. Already an axe has been placed on the root of the tree. It has already been decided to be stamped and thrown into the fire. It says so. A thorn tree means that we were already determined to be thrown into hell from the time we were born, and that we were born sinners and forced to go to hell. That's why all the people in the world who are born descendants of Adam are bad trees, born sinners. No one knows who Adam is, right? If you don't know, please refer to the video above. 4. We were born sinners. The only good tree is Jesus. Jesus is a righteous man because he was conceived by the Holy Spirit, and everyone else was born sinners. So it's a lie to say that people should live a good life without sinning in the world. Even if a man is good, it is hypocrisy, and the core of the heart is evil. There are good people in the world. Yes, but only a slight difference, and everyone is evil. Yes, there are people in the world who seem to be nice. Once upon a time, there was a very good daughter-in-law. Her husband died and lived with her mother-in-law, and she served her with great care like her biological mother. So she won the Filial Daughter Award, but as her mother-in-law grew older, she became dementia. Even though she had dementia and was pooping and painting on the wall, her daughter-in-law took good care of her and won the second Filial Daughter Award. But there's a saying that long illness doesn't do the trick. Soon after, daughter-in-law hated her mother-in-law so much. Over time, the daughter-in-law said, "Why don't you go after that old laborer? Go to hell." Whenever others didn't see her, she stabbed her mother-in-law in the thigh with an awl. What's the conclusion? The center of everyone, including those who seem to be good, is already a thorn tree, born a sinner. The shell can be made into a good shape because it is well packed on the outside, but when you go into the center of the inside, there is nothing but sin. No, I don't. Really? Have you ever had a bad heart in your life? Every man has evil in his heart. Why? Because the seed is a thorn tree. No matter how good a man does, it's hypocrisy. A person's inner core is evil. Like a plated ring, it's copper inside, but it's covered with gold on the outside, so you can mistake it for a gold ring on the outside. It looks almost the same as the real thing. However, if you scratch a little bit, the copper hidden inside will soon appear. The same goes for the human race. No matter how good a person is or how good a person is, if he or she poke a few times, he or she explode, saying, "I have a limit to holding this in." He or she can react well even if you touch it at first. It's hypocrisy and it's not revealed. Do it 2 or 3 times and it's revealed when what's inside explodes. The one at the bottom comes out. People think thousands or tens of thousands of things a day, and there are good minds, but there are certainly evil and dirty minds. This kind of mind has not been revealed, but it certainly exists in the mind. It is bound to be revealed when given the opportunity. If someone says they are nice in their own way, it is because they have not yet discovered their true nature. People who grow up in a very good and happy family are more likely to not know their evil nature because they are not given the environment and circumstances in which their nature will be revealed. But it is not without evil nature. Many people don't know that and consider themselves a good person in their own way. Are there a lot of people who are now in prison and drug addicts who are determined to be? The nature to sin against anyone is inherent. They didn't know that, but one day they found themselves surprised after committing evil. 5. Man sees appearance, but God sees center of mind. In Samuel chapter 16, men see appearance, and Jehovah sees center. People look at their appearance. People can't see the center. A man looks like this because he is good at acting and speaking, but God does not. God looks at the center of a person's heart. The center is evil, but he looks at the center. Therefore, even if a person does good, it is all seen as hypocrisy in God's eyes. What happens when you stand before God with hypocrisy and say, "I have done good"? It's all hell. There is no way as a person. In chapter 7 of the Gospel of Matthew, do people pick grapes from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? Likewise every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. Good berries produce good fruit and bad trees produce bad fruit. It doesn't make sense that good fruit comes from bad trees. God never expected us to do good from the beginning because He knew from the beginning that we were born as sinners and thorns from the time we were born. God does not want man to do good, nor does He expect them to do so.